What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be analyzing highlights of Coby White from this past season with the Bulls, and then I'm going to be talking about how Coby White can take his game to the next level as he moves forward in his career, and how he's going to fit into this Bulls roster, knowing who's going to be on this roster for this upcoming season. But before we get into that, though, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys for the support on the Patrick Williams videos. Those are doing really well. If you have not checked those out, link will be in the description box below. Also, heads up for you guys, especially to all my new subscribers. I am in like my last couple weeks of college or semester for college, and as most of you probably know, means a lot of projects, tests, finals, stuff like that. So I'm planning to keep uploading weekly, but I'm not expecting to make a lot of videos. So just a little heads up there. Once my semester's over, videos will be coming out a lot more frequently, and a lot more per week. But let's get into this, though. I'm going to be analyzing Coby White's game against the Thunder, which I believe the Bulls lost, but he went off with 35 points. Zach LaVine also had 41 points this game. Overall, I think this was the best game for Coby White this season. You can argue multiple other games, especially right before the suspension of the NBA season happened. But I'm going to be really breaking down this game specifically because I think this is the most Coby White-esque game that he had last season. And it's mostly just due to his shot selections and how well he ran this offense. Even when this team was down by 20-plus points, he did a fantastic job of keeping the guys in it and really not going away from his own game. I think Boylen really messed up Coby White. His rookie season, he told Coby White to only shoot threes, only shoot layups, and as we saw with Coby White, he had some trouble when it came to finishing at the rim. So if Coby White had a wide open 18 mid-range shot, and he would immediately think, oh, don't shoot the mid-range, I need to get to the rim, but that was a struggle for him. Or he would think, I need to step back and shoot an off-balance three, which is an even worse shot for him. Coby White can shoot that mid-range really effectively, and he shows it in this video. Billy Donovan was very high on shooting the mid-range last season with his Thunder team, as you saw with Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, and SGA. So I expect Billy Donovan to allow Coby White to shoot that mid-range shot because it can only help Coby White. Shooting the mid-range, especially if the defense is giving it to you, is not a bad shot, and you're going to see why in this video. So we're going to start off this video right here. This is going to be like the beginning of the game, which was, Bulls were still kind of in it, but this is showing off his speed right here, and it's something that I really think is going to be a big part of Coby White moving forward, is his ability to run with the ball and push pace, which, by the way, Boylen did not do the greatest job of. So right here, again, in transition, which is something, again, we need to see more of. Good pick and roll with Felicio. If SGA goes under that screen, you should take that three-point shot if you're in rhythm, which is good. So I'm glad to see Coby White do such a thing right there. Another pick and roll Felicio. This time, though, as you saw there, Dennis Schroeder went over the top of the screen and pushed Coby White into Steven Adams, as Steven Adams was doing this drop coverage, though. In this case right here, as you can see, if you're Coby White, it is a bad idea to try to contest Steven Adams at the rim here. Not only is Steven Adams in position to guard the paint, but also Chris Paul is right here too. So to me, this is the best shot for Coby White. As he doesn't step back and take the three-point shot, right? He steps in, shoots about a 20-footer, and you'd be like, well, it's not that efficient. Well, in that sort of scenario where there is no other playmakers on the floor for the Bulls, by the way, and you're in a pick and roll with Felicio, who Felicio doesn't really do much when he's setting a pick, like, that is the best shot in that case, and he took the best shot and knocked it down. Again, mid-range, though. All right, here we go with one of the classic Bulls Boylen plays, but this, again, is another mid-range shot. That, to me, again, is going to be a big part of Coby White's game this upcoming season. Chris Paul was the master of the mid-range shot. He shot like over 50% between like 15 and 18 footers this season. So seeing Coby White take these sort of shots, I expect Coby White to be taking more of these shots, especially if the defense is going to be dropping off as much as Steven Adams is on the pick and roll. And again, Billy Donovan loves the pick and roll. So again here, good job. Instead, when Steven Adams moves up just a slight bit more, that opens up Felicio. And again, that type of play, which I'm going to go back here, this type of play isn't available unless Coby White is a threat to shoot the mid-range shot. Because if let's say the Bulls were like, no, you can only shoot threes and only shoot layups, then Steven Adams can just be backing up as far as he wants to, knowing that Coby White will not take that mid-range shot. But because he's a threat to take the mid-range shot, Steven Adams is a little bit up higher now this time, almost out of the paint, which allows Felicio to roll to the rim and it opens up a passing lane for Coby White to give it to him. So, again, being able to shoot the mid-range can only help your team, and you should be willing to take those shots. All right, let's see here. So this is, I think, a 3-point shot. Yep. So obviously, when it comes for Coby White, we saw his 3-point shot was really inconsistent last season, and I don't expect that to get a lot better this season. I do expect it to get better, but one of the things I want to see with Coby White is not immediately come out and whether he's starting or he's coming off the bench. I don't know what's going to happen under Billy Donovan, but whenever Coby White is getting into the game, I want him to first think how can I get a rhythm shot and not force up a three? Because as you saw in this game, his first bucket was a transition bucket. It was a layup at the rim, and then as he got going, he started shooting the mid-range shot. Once you see a few buckets go in, then start shooting that 3-point shot, because getting into a rhythm for Coby White is really, really big for him because he is a streaky type shooter, and seeing a few buckets go in, whether it's a layup or get to the free throw line or shoots the mid-range, can only help him when then he's going to start shooting the 3-ball. So again, good job here making that shot. It was a good offense. No, it was not. All right, here's this. This is where I'm excited with Coby White, because people don't really understand how good of his handle, like how good he is at handling the ball. So off pick and roll here, SGA is a decent defender, but look at how Coby White breaks him down. He does a great job doing that spin move and keeping the ball alive, even though SGA was up in his shirt. Here's a step back shot, which is very James Harden-esque, but I like it because, again, the defense knew he can take that mid-range shot, and they took away that shot, and it allowed him to take the 3-point shot, and that's just, that's actually good basketball right there, swinging it to the open shooter, which, by the way, with Coby White, I do want him to be more on ball, like being the ball handler this upcoming season. He was kind of shoved into like a shooting guard type role under Boylan, and Boylan really tried to use him like the shooter in the corner or the stand still shooter. But I think with Coby White, that is not going to be his entire game, and he needs to have the ball in his hands just like this. And just because, you give him the ball more doesn't mean that takes away shots from Levine or Markkanen or the other players. This just opens up more opportunities for this team to move the ball, have another ball handler, which, by the way, a lot of Bulls fans want another ball handler. And having Coby White be able to handle the ball like this and push it in transition is going to be important. Here's another 3-point shot. Again, once Coby White starts feeling that shot, it's just go. Just go ahead and start putting it up, because his streakiness is going to be, once he hits those couple shots, it's going to be big for him, as he can hit it from basically anywhere. I'm going to roll this one back. All right, so again, this is another situation here. Terrence Ferguson goes over that screen, so it pushes Coby White away from the 3-point line, right? But you see where Steven Adams is playing. Steven Adams is so far back right here, so it would be really dumb for Coby White to drive into the paint and try to put up a layup against Steven Adams. Steven Adams is arguably the strongest player in the league. He's a 7-footer. And Coby White, again, he's just a rookie. Now, I expected Coby White to get stronger and be able to finish at the rim better. But right here, this is the smartest shot. And that's, Steven Adams isn't very comfortable moving out of the paint. Now, instead, with Coby White, it's like, okay, if you're going to give me all of this space right here in the mid-range area, and this is about 17 feet away from the basket, take the shot. Terrence Ferguson hits him and won. So, again, it's the mid-range. It's a humongous part of Coby White's game, and it has to be consistent. Again, right here, look how Steven Adams gets so off balance, and this is just because of his mid-range shot ability. Steven Adams had to play up more, right? Steven Adams had to make sure to take away the 3-point shot, number one, but then number two, he had to make sure he took away the mid-range shot as well. Instead of falling back, he had to stay with Coby White, which gets him off balance. And then another mid-range shot over Terrence Ferguson, bang. And that play right there looks very Chris Paul-esque. Like, that was a consistent Chris Paul play under Billy Donovan. Expect to see that this upcoming season. The Bulls made a serious comeback here, and it was basically because of Coby White, and then Zach LaVine then also really helped as well. This is a very weird, like floppy-like play. The floppy is when you see a bunch of pin downs for a shooter to come off of, and not really like not any screens were really set. All these guys are kind of standing here, but it eventually worked out. And I'm not the biggest fan of Coby White doing this type of play, but it is effective. I like to see Levine do more of that. And maybe instead of having 3 guys setting a screen for Coby White, have just, Daniel Gafford or Wendell Carter Jr. set it more at the top of the key. Allow Coby White to come off that screen, which allows him to get his momentum going towards the rim when he catches the ball. So just ideas to throw out there. This is just, again, once the Thunder had to start basically moving up on this pick and roll set, it opens up everything for the entire Bulls, and now Thaddeus Young gets a wide open shot, which is from Coby White's playmaking, which I think is very underrated, because a lot of people think Coby White is only just a shooter or only just a scorer, and is only going to be like a spark plug off the bench and only think score first. But again, he is a point guard. I really do think that he's a point guard, and let's say if he is a shooting guard, for example, Donovan Mitchell, right? He's a shooting guard, but he makes an incredible amount of plays for the Utah Jazz, and I don't see why Coby White can't do the same. Another pick and roll, Felicio at the top here. Good finish at the rim, which again is going to be, something he has to work on as he moves forward in his career. So that was basically just all the highlights from the Thunder game. Very impressive performance, and this was, kind of like around the time when the Bulls started to think, or at least Bulls fans were like, Coby White's kind of struggled this past month. And, he came out hot to start the season, and he kind of struggled, and is like, wow, what are we going to get from this guy? And then we saw, last 8 games, I think, before the suspension of the season, that he can really play make, and not just for himself, but for others as well. The 3-point shot is going to be the biggest part of Coby White's game that's going to, tell us if he's going to be able to take that next level to be like one of the best scorers in the league, or just, a really good scorer in the league. His mid-range shot is on point. I really think he has the ability to knock the mid-range shot down at any point in the game. Obviously, as a rookie, he's not the best finisher. I expect that to, obviously improve as he gets bigger and stronger. But I'm going to be, now I want to show you something that I hope he works on as the Bulls. This is a development season again for the Bulls, as we have a bunch of young guys in the roster. But I want to show you something which I think could help the Bulls and help Coby White's decision making as he moves forward. I hope to see it a little bit this season, because again, Billy Donovan had Chris Paul last season, and Chris Paul was a master doing things like this. What I'm about to show you. Also, Dennis Schroeder was, and I say Dennis Schroeder because Dennis Schroeder is really quick, and so is Coby White. But I'm going to show you Damian Lillard highlights right here. I don't expect Coby White to be Damian Lillard next season. I don't want to put that image in your head. But what I do expect Coby White to do is to have better decision making when it comes to the pick and roll. As we saw in that Thunder game, I think he made some pretty good decisions, but if you watch the entire game, there were some decisions that he made that could, he could work on. He can definitely do some things better. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that from Damian Lillard, which makes Lillard an incredible player, that Coby White can take those things and apply it to his game, and then just continue to work on it. And remember, he's only a sophomore, so as he, goes into his junior year and then, his 4th year and on, these things that he can take, from Lillard's game now is going to really help him as he moves forward. So with Lillard here, Lillard knows what to do with the ball when he looks at the defense. Like, he goes off of what the defense does to him. If the defense does this one thing, he's going to do this thing. And that's what makes Lillard so effective, is because Lillard, you don't know what Lillard's going to do. He's watching the defense, and then he's going to make his decisions. So right here is it's basically a horn set, but a very high pick and roll, and you're going to see Collins and Nurkic here set a pick. But it's the decision making with Lillard. He is watching what Porzingis does here, and that's the only guy he really has to watch. Knowing already that the Mavericks most of the time go over the screen, he just has to watch what the big man does. And right here, off the double pick, Porzingis is too far back already. Now, I don't expect Coby White to take this type of shot. This is an incredibly tough shot, but let's say Coby White had more space and not have like a Trey Burke like right on his hip, and But the main point I'm trying to say here is look at how far back Porzingis is. And this is the type of stuff where it's like if Porzingis or whoever the big man is going to play this far back, I'm not gonna say to Coby White, don't take that shot. I want him to take this sort of shot. I'd be happy with him taking this type of shot because the defense is giving it to him. He needs to knock it down, which then opens up everything for the Bulls. So Lillard hits this incredible shot, by the way, which is extremely tough. But this is stuff that I really want to show you here. Now, this was off a make, I think, from Dallas, but immediately with 19 seconds left on the shot clock, you already see what Portland's trying to do. Nurkic comes up really high and sets a pick here on the wing, but it's going to put Porzingis as basically the only help guy, as the rest of the defense for the Mavericks is still kind of in transition and still trying to get back. They're not in position at all to help Porzingis if Porzingis gets beat, right? So what Lillard does in recognizing this, as you can see, there is so much space in the paint and all the way to the other corner here. If Porzingis decides, hey, I'm going to come out and not be in the paint and not stay by the rim, well, Lillard has the speed and quickness to get by him and then also the strength to finish at the rim right here, which is the important part, is that he needs to be able to, one, get by Porzingis, which, isn't that hard for someone like Lillard, but then be able to actually finish with a 7-3 guy trailing year behind. So that's just one play, and then it's just a similar thing right here. So it's the same sort of idea, and now the defense is basically kind of set, and everyone's in their positions on the offense. But again, you see what Porzingis is doing. He's up now. He's not falling back as he did it earlier. So what this means for Lillard is like, okay, if you're going to take away the three-point shot, then I'm going to go right towards the rim. And he just does that. And obviously, Kleber is not really in position either for some odd reason, which he should have been. But if Kleber didn't move, then that opens up Collins, which opens up McCollum, which then opens up Hezonja. So just decisions for Coby White to, work on as he's working on his pick and roll game. Now, this is something I mentioned earlier with Coby White, is that if, let's say, one of the big men, whether it's Carter Jr., Gafford, whoever, decides to, set like a high off-ball screen at the top of the key, it allows Coby White to then come off that screen with his main defender behind him, right? And if he gets the ball, his momentum's already going towards the rim, which is good for Coby White because his speed is an asset for him. It's a weapon. And this also is basically like making a pick and roll, but you're off ball. Because now Porzingis is in this position where he has to help no matter what, because Trey Burke is now stuck on Nurkic all the way up here, and that basically nullifies Trey Burke. It's up to Porzingis to make sure that this possession on defense isn't completely blown. But again, with Lillard, it doesn't matter, right? Once he knows that Trey Burke is like gone from him, like Trey Burke can't get back in front of him, you see what Porzingis does, right? Porzingis, when he sees this happening, he's like, okay, I got to back up. He immediately starts backing up, right? And while Lillard does lose the ball a little bit, Porzingis is still thinking, I got to protect this rim. But we talked about earlier, Coby White's mid-range game is what's going to make him a threat to the defense. His mid-range game is going to be vital for this upcoming season. And right here, you see with Lillard, and we all talk about Lillard as a great three-point shooter, and we look at his amazing numbers. But even Lillard, as one of the greatest scorers in the game right now, is not afraid to take that mid-range shot. And, if he was told to only shoot threes and only shoot layups, then this is probably not a bucket. So for Coby White to be really effective this upcoming season, he needs to have the freedom to be able to do whatever he wants on the court, especially in the pick and roll sets. And Billy Donovan, as we all know, was allowed Chris Paul and Schroeder and SGA to basically do what they want when it came to the pick and roll. It's a matter of also the other players, though, to be in the right positions to make sure that the pick and roll is going to be effective. So just a few things to show you with that. To finish this video, though, I want to just kind of point up a couple things. OKC was obviously one of the few teams that shot a lot of mid-range shots, right? But main thing I want to point out, and even though this OKC team really didn't have a lot of talent on the team, they didn't have like a main guy, there wasn't like a superstar, they still ranked top 15 in offense, right? But the main thing also was that they rated top 10 in defense. They were 7th overall in defense. So what I expect with Billy Donovan, and for him, his first step in the development process for this Bulls, is that defense is going to be a major thing. The Bulls, I think, even under Boylen, and even though the numbers look pretty okay under Boylen, I don't really think the Bulls had the greatest defense. And while with Coby White and Zach LaVine, you're probably thinking that's not the greatest duo in the backcourt to be looking at defensively, you have to remember with Zach LaVine, he's 6'6", Coby White, he's 6'4", and I think both of those guys are actually pretty underrated defensively when it comes to on-ball situations. I think they're going to be better defenders than what Lillard and McCollum are currently. It's a matter of making sure that they know how to work in a defensive type scheme that fits every single player that they're playing with, and for the ability to also adjust when different guys come in and out of the lineup. So I think with Billy Donovan, I'm really looking at how he manages the guard play and how he looks at the guard play from both sides of the court, which, again, is going to be a huge part for Coby White. He needs to be able to take what Billy Donovan's telling him and apply it into his game really quickly, because that is just going to push the Bulls' rebuild much faster if he's able to do that, because we know in today's game that the point guard is the most important position. And if Coby White can be the point guard and take everything that Billy Donovan is going to tell him to do, this helps the Bulls and the rest of the Bulls players for the upcoming future. So that's all I have for this Coby White highlight video. I hope you guys enjoyed me breaking down this, and I'm really looking forward to see what Coby White does this upcoming season, because I personally do not know. I think he could average 15 points per game consistently on good efficiency, but he could also have another year like last year where we don't know we're going to get every single night. So it's going to be a big development year, but don't expect Coby White to become an all-star this upcoming season. But if you got to this point in the video, you had to enjoy something, right? So hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next Bulls video. Peace.